Hi, all right, today's reading on the Two of Swords. Two of Swords, about a decision, so something you've been thinking about with your thoughts. This could be about anything. Twos sometimes can be about partnership, but this really can be anything. And then just really checking out. Notice the hands crossed over her heart, so being blocked, maybe at your heart, and also the blindfold on. So sometimes blindfold can just be being unaware, but here really kind of tuning out outside distractions and just going within, checking in with yourself, your own thoughts, and kind of coming up with your plan and what you want. So around decisions, something you either have needed to decide about or something you've been thinking on, but also watching out for maybe being blocked, like I said, across your heart, so where you might be able to open up a little bit, or if you're being maybe too guarded. Get here. Okay, so right now, kind of where you're at, Pentacles is about kind of focusing on, you can see your money coming in, focusing on either your talents or your stability, your finances specifically. Can see his red tights there. So something you're passionate about as well. And he's really kind of carving out that coin, focusing on the craft. So right now, focusing on yourself, your money, your passion, and maybe that's playing into the decision that you need to make as well. It's flying out here. So what's really been blocked, maybe there's been a little conflict. You can see here this guy is kind of standing his ground. He's about to put a stake or a claim down. You can also see he's kind of surrounded or blocked by these other wands. Wands represent fire often. So again, as we're talking about kind of that passion with the red tights and kind of maybe focusing on your money or your craft, but here where you've been being blocked, so maybe again there's been some conflict and there needs to be a stand taken, or maybe you already have taken one. Let's see. Flying out the deck. All right. So the outcome here, let's see, two different messages kind of popped out. So we'll just start here with the Five of Cups. So this card does have a little bit of a sadness to it, or a loss. You can see some of these cups over here are tipped over. Again, you can kind of see that red being spilled out. And the figure, again, is kind of looking down, back is turned towards us. So there is sort of a sadness here, but there are still some cups standing upright, right? So there is still some kind of emotion there. And then the other card that came up, Page of Pentacles. So this message, maybe like an offer, some kind of proposal, maybe something new and fresh. Again, you can see the coin is highlighted here, so kind of goes with kind of where you're at now, kind of focusing on that. So that same thing, and maybe finding some kind of something new. So again, kind of seeing maybe some sadness, maybe there's some healing or something that needs to be dealt with or gone through, but then also something fresh, young, new coming in, with something stable, with with some kind of offer. All right. Let's get out this other deck here. Oh, lost a card. The world. So the world is what just fell out onto the ground. And the world often can represent success or completion. You can kind of see the circle around her. She's kind of taking up the whole center of the tree. So she's got the roots, but also growing up. And the sun and the moon, they're on both sides. See what you need to help you here. Got a couple cards. Nine of Wands came out. Nine of Wands is about strength, but it can also be about being blocked. Which again, there we go. Like I said, with even just about the decision, right? There's kind of a guardedness, a blockedness here, but also needing to maybe put on that blindfold and really just listen into yourself, kind of ignoring some of that other conflict. So putting a stake down. So Nine of Wands, you know, what you need is strength. You can see a lot of fire and sun here, but you can also see this kind of almost looking bandaged in a way, or like it's been mended together. So like I was talking about healing that may need to occur, finding potentially that sadness as part of this outcome or part of this decision, but then also something new coming in, something young and fresh. So what you need is passion, you need strength, you need healing, but knowing that you can still kind of stand up together. You can see kind of all these wands still working together. Five of Cups came up again, a little bit different in this deck. If we compare these two, right, this figure looks pretty sad. There's some spilled empty cups, some red, whether that's passion or blood, and again just this overall kind of oppressive feeling to this card, but on this one as well, maybe that's what's needed. So you're needing to dump out those emotions, really getting that out. You can see that these are just poured out. They're just dripping, almost empty. And then there's again though, notice these are being totally filled, overflowing in the background. So what needs to come out? What needs to be spilled? What needs to be brought to attention? And then what's being filled up right now? Notice maybe if that's a little uneven too. Maybe we're pouring too much into some cups, not enough into others. But then also the sun here. This card is bright, beautiful. We've got kind of light beams coming out. So maybe getting out, it is summertime. So a little more of that heat, that action, that fire. But also look at the growth around the sun. This card can represent recovery and healing and growth. So again, these three really kind of, to me, feel like finding the strength, knowing that you can stand up for what you want or what you are passionate about, being strong enough to maybe know what you need to get out, what needs to get emptied, right? And what needs to get out in front. So you can also get that overflowing and that filling. And then with the sun again, there's fire and passion, of course, in this card, but also kind of that healing, growth, recovery. So the blossoming after kind of going through this part of the transformation. Easier said than done, right? All right, let's see. So what is it time to do? Eight of Cups. There's a lot of emotion And the cups can represent also love, specifically, but definitely feelings and emotions. There's two. So what you need to do, how do you get there? How do you go through that? How do you get the strength, getting those emotions, those feelings out to the forefront, but also to find that healing, growth, and recovery? So in this card, I see a lot of reflection, right? We have all these cups lined up by the river. The phase of the moon right here is the crescent moon. So that can also be a good time to retreat, reflect. Also just water is reflective, right? We can see the mountains in the background on the horizon. So maybe even just getting in tune with nature a little bit. You can see kind of this night sky. So there's just this really peaceful, serene, maybe even go camping if you're into that sort of thing. But it doesn't have to be necessarily about travel or being necessarily next to water. But noticing all the phases on each cup, right? There's different cycles to everything. Right now, all of these cups look empty. So really thinking about the phases and where are those leading to, where are those going? As we start something and then go through the cycles of fulfillment and going back down to reflection, just noticing where that path is leading. What do you actually want to fill up those cups? So really reflecting and assessing. A lot of cups here and wands, just in general. So Ace of Cups. That is something new that can either be new love, potentially, or maybe this is even a love for yourself. Think about self-love. Look at how this main cup, this big cup, is just being poured into, also overflowing. It's sturdy, it's not tipping over, right? It's kind of evenly pouring things back out. So not only reflecting and noticing what you want to fill up those cups, maybe that is something new, whether that's a new idea, like I said, new love, new idea, new interest, maybe really self-care as well, which is important when you're doing reflecting, right? That cannot always be pretty and not always be fun, but something that is necessary to kind of move on if we want to get to, this recovery, this newness. Sometimes you have to go through sadness, but it's all about speaking your truth and really finding what is going to fill up that cup. Lastly, what came out here? 10 of Wands. So you can see this kind of pulling them all together. No matter how you look at this, maybe you can see this as restriction, or maybe you can see this as grouping together. But knowing that you do have the power, right? You are holding this, I can see this blue, not only as loyalty, but also as your truth, your voice. And knowing you can see these rays shining down onto that and then aiming that up high. So really finding this unity with that. And again, finding your truth and holding on to that and letting that be kind of what binds you, what guides you, making one big wand with all these 10, right? So that's kind of closing out a cycle, but then almost in a way kind of unifying it to start something new. All right, so that's the reading about decisions, indecisiveness. If there's something that's been on your mind, like I said, this twos can be about partnership, but it doesn't always have to be. That can be love and business, home life. Maybe this is just, something you've been kicking around back and forth. And again, just knowing that there may be some grieving, some sadness, as we kind of dive in, right? Put our blindfold on and just go inside. Really listening to the one voice of our own that matters kind of the most, right? But yeah, knowing that there may be some sadness along that way, but ultimately going through reflection, going through kind of strength, right? Even if we're feeling a little bit broken, knowing that we're mended, we can do that ourselves. Finding where we're losing, where we've emptied our cups. What do we need to get out? What do we need to spill, so to speak, right? But then know that there's always more flowing, right? There's not an end to that water or that river. And, you know, knowing there's something big, something great, something that's going to overflow that cup once you dive in. Really getting all of your thoughts together, really getting, kind of letting your passion drive you, finding your truth, being honest, right? There's an honesty to a lot of these cards. And then moving forward, right? Taking those 10 fires, that kind of completion, and just holding on to what you know to be true and letting that lead you forward, kind of in a united path forward. That's the reading today. Hope you enjoyed it. Yeah, that's it. All right. Namaste, light and love.